you go into the riverboat system. Like you got Captain Billy Bird, and guys that run the river system and hauling freight to the north and that. So they're a great model, right? And you go back to, some of the other fur traders that were in the area. A lot of Métis people that lived on the Athabasca. Every 10 miles there was another family, and Mrs. Grant, she raised all her children on the river and homeschooled them all, right? And they didn't come to town and that. So, they're all heroes in one way or another. And one other one I have is, my grandmother, Jenny Fleck. She was a midwife in Fort Chip, and she brought in, just under 500 babies and never lost one. There was no hospitals back then, and she just ordered a book out of Edmonton, learned how to do it, and really, I give her credit, and my grandfather too. I remember my grandmother telling me a story that he never once complained in the wintertime because the women would stay with her for 7 to 8 days or whatever it takes. Right? But she'd do the laundry, and in the wintertime, there was no dryers. Everything was put out in the line, and my grandfather chopped wood, all water, all that good stuff. So there's a lot of, the Frasers. She was a Fraser, and before she married Edward. We got a lot of ties to Fort Chip, Frasers and the Ludits and the Flecks and all of that. So there's lots of heroes, right? Pick one is hard. The obvious ones, of course. In our region, as McMurray Métis, we have a number of heroes, right? We try to honor them, like the late Michael Cardinal was a great ambassador for the Métis people, and the music, for sure, instrumental in getting one of the young people through the music, the fiddling, and that. I think there's lots.
My favorite, I'm a little partial, one of my favorite Métis heroes was Billy Ludit, who was my great-grandfather. And if you actually look at the story, he saved the town of Athabasca from a flood by running from Athabasca to the city of Edmonton to let them know that there was trouble and they needed help. And because he did that, the town of Athabasca was saved. I also think, the obvious is Louis Riel. The late Grant Goloski is one of my strong Métis heroes because he was a huge advocate for the Métis Local. And I remember the days where we would have a barbecue up at the Local, and that was the old office, the one that existed prior to the fire and the devastation that came through in 2016. But we used to come together as a local, and you would bring the hot dogs, and you would bring the barbecue, and you would bring the watermelon, and you would bring the buns, and everybody participated to make that family barbecue a hit. And that's what 1935 is a family, regardless of what that tree looks like. We can all take the roots down to the roots, and we're all related somewhere. And 1935 is one big community, it's one big family.